Yo, what's going on guys, it's Super and welcome back to another Battlefield 6 video. Battlefield 6 Labs playtesting has been going on for about the past week, and there's been some leaks from players which I can't really show you or really talk about because I don't want to spoil it or get a copyright strike on my video. But what I can talk on is some of the things that EA DICE has actually been showing off themselves. Firstly, the sledgehammer. We saw the sledgehammer in the previous PC trailer video, and now on Twitter they uploaded a few videos of what we can expect with the sledgehammer itself. Now the hammer itself is listed as a melee weapon on the top here, but I don't think it's actually going to be a replacement for the knife, but it will actually be more of a gadget, which is also listed here on the image. Which, to be honest, I think would be pretty funny if you could use it as a melee weapon instead of a knife. I think everybody running around with a sledgehammer on all the classes would be quite comedic, but I think for all intents and purposes, that's not what's going to actually happen. Now, in these two videos, it shows the two different functions that it has that we know of. One is for destruction, and it shows a little bit of a clip here of the destruction of what it can do to the side of a building. It looks like it takes 2 or 3 hits, and it can completely level the side of a building, opening it up completely. And 2 is using it, well, as a melee weapon instead of a knife, using it in a takedown where you take the enemy's dog tags. It also says that it can inflict a small amount of damage to vehicles. Now, how much actually it does, I'm not sure. And if it can actually do damage to people not in a takedown, we have yet to see that too. And secondly is the EOD bot. If you ever played Battlefield 3, you know this thing was an absolute menace. And in Battlefield 6, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit bigger. And I think in Battlefield 3, I can't remember, you could run people over with it and get road kills. Like I said, I can't remember if that's exactly how it was. That was so long ago, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing in Battlefield 6. Considering it is bigger, and if it was a thing, it would make sense, but we have yet to see. Now, some of what it can do is you can use it as a mobile repair tool, which is pretty much just a safer way of repairing your vehicles, and you can use it also to damage enemy vehicles like you would a repair tool. Something that they also kept in with it is you can arm and disarm the MCOM in the rush game mode. But something new that they added is you can destroy and place mines down to deal with enemy armor, which I think is pretty cool that you can just shoot these little things out and it'll destroy enemy mines that are placed. And you can place these sort of concussing mines for vehicles. It doesn't look like it actually does a lot of damage, but it's a new addition to it and it seems pretty neat. In addition to that, I think this being added back into the game, especially with a lot of new people, I think there's going to be a lot of like ninja diffuses with people posting clips on TikTok of them arming and disarming the MCOM, which I think will be pretty fun to see. Now, number 3 thing that they showcased on Twitter that I found was the assault ladder. Now, we have seen a few snippets in various of the trailers of the ladder itself, but here are them showing us what it can do. And it has 2 modes from what they are showing us. It is the ladder mode and the ramp mode. Now, the ladder mode is going to be used, well, exactly like a ladder. You're going to be able to get into these balconies that are shown in the video or onto like rooftops, such like that, so you can flank enemies from unknown angles or being able to get into a building and you didn't know about it, which is a cool way of being able to sort of change up the way the combat works. Now, number 2 is the ramp mode, which I think is really cool. You'll be able to use it to get to elevated areas, which find unexpected angles to catch your enemies off guard. Which you can see here, he's going into the window on the bus, and knowingly that you think most people would be going underneath it. As well as the fact that you can actually use the ramp mode of the ladder as a bridge. So I'm expecting people to use this in sort of a way of making a bridge across different rooftops that are close together, so you can have a larger area to play around, which I think is pretty neat. And next thing that they show us are some of the things we can expect in terms of the destruction of 3 of the maps that we have yet to see. Well, some that we didn't get from the beta, which are Sobek City, Merak Valley, and of course, Operation Firestorm. And here you can see the before and after photos of just what the map looks like to what it's going to look like after all the destruction has happened. Now, we saw the mini levolution on Merak Valley with the crane, and sort of the construction there in the background and how it's sort of leveled a little bit. And I'm not sure if there's going to be other aspects to that on other maps like Noob Sobek City. But, of course, we'll have to find out when we actually get our hands on the game. And finally, the last thing I wanted to touch on was that Battlefield 6 will have its single-player campaign showcased at the Tokyo Games on September 26th. It's going to be an hour-long show, and it's kind of going to be a huge thing. Even if you're not big into single-player games or the campaign of multiplayer games like Battlefield or Call of Duty, I think that this game has kept it quite a big secret in terms of what this campaign is actually about. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to follow suit with BF1 and make the different storylines that they had, but I think that it's going to be an actual good story as they're trying to keep it a secret, and it will be quite long because they're putting a lot of effort into it and keeping it this big secret. So we're getting an hour-long showcase of it, and if you're like me and someone who doesn't really care for the campaigns, but is someone who often plays them, I think this will be something that we can enjoy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how much effort and if it's going to pay off and be worth to play it in Battlefield 6. Other than that, there were a few things that I don't really want to talk about, like I said at the beginning of the video, which were sort of leaks. Either data miners or hackers sort of got into the playtest and they sort of found out that jets, which we didn't get to see at the beta, were what they're telling us, is that the jet systems are going to be slightly modified or overhauled to feel more like real life, and how each jet will be different and there will be different mechanics for each jet, which personally is something that I've been wanting. And I think it would be pretty cool to be in a dogfight versus, say, an F-35 and like a Su-27. Obviously, the F-35 is going to be way better than that thing. So we could hopefully expect, obviously the skill of each pilot in game is going to vary, but in the average terms, it's probably going to come out on top. Which, if this is true and that's how it's going to be, I think that would be pretty awesome. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Peace.